Led Zeppelin. Hard to beat him. Being a drummer, I'm really into John Bonham. A lot of people don't understand or appreciate Bonham's genius, his simplicity. But daggone, it was the way he lived in the pocket was really something pretty special. The drumming on, was it when the levee breaks? Holy! I mean, a lot of his drumming was really incredible, but when the levee breaks was really quite amazing. So tonight, I want to do Ezekiel 22 and 30. And then we're also going to talk about financial literacy and wealth building strategies as part of the career and finances, career finance and purpose section of the book of the brother. So far in this section, we've talked about discovering and living your life's purpose, building a meaningful career and work ethic. Tonight will be financial literacy, wealth building strategies, and next week, entrepreneurship and creating value in the marketplace. Kind of foundational stuff. But for tonight, for now, Ezekiel 22 and 30. And I sought for a man among them who should build up the wall and stand in the breach before me for the land, that I should not destroy it. But I found none. Context. This verse is part of Jeremiah's prophecy, where he's addressing the spiritual and moral decline of the people of Judah. He is lamenting the lack of righteousness among the leaders. Breakdown. Searched among them. God is actively seeking for individuals who will stand up for what is right. Build a wall or stand in the breach. This is imagery that suggests the need for leaders who will protect the nation from spiritual and moral decay. Keep me from destroying the land. God is reluctant to destroy the land and its people, but he is willing to do so if there is no one to stand in the breach. Practical applications. Be a leader of righteousness. Strive to be a person of integrity and character who stands up for what is right. Protect the values of your community. Work to uphold the moral and spiritual values of your community. Speak out against injustice. Do not be afraid to speak out against injustice and oppression. Lead by example. Demonstrate the kind of leadership you desire to see in others. Seek God's guidance. Pray for wisdom and discernment as you seek to lead others. Key takeaways. God is searching for righteous leaders. We have a responsibility to stand up for what is right. By being a leader of righteousness, we can help to protect our communities and prevent spiritual and moral decay. Additional thoughts. This verse is a call to action for all believers. We should not be passive in the face of injustice or spiritual or moral decline. From the book of the brother, Financial Literacy and Wealth Building Strategies. Financial literacy is the foundation for a secure and prosperous future. It is not just about understanding how to budget or save, though those skills are foundational. It is about mastering the principles of wealth building, making informed decisions, and strategically managing money to achieve long-term goals. Wealth building goes beyond simply earning money. It's about making your money work for you through smart investments, effective budgeting, and consistent financial discipline. This section explores the essential financial principles of wealth building strategies and actionable steps to help you take control of your finances and create lasting financial freedom. Financial literacy is the ability to understand and effectively manage various financial aspects of life. from budgeting and saving to investing and retirement planning. It involves acquiring knowledge about financial products, markets, and the key concepts that govern financial decision making. Why financial literacy matters. Empowerment. Financial literacy gives you control over your money, helping you make informed decisions and avoid common financial pitfalls. Reduce financial stress. When you understand finances, you are better equipped to handle financial challenges and avoid anxiety about money. Long-term success. Sound financial knowledge lays the groundwork for building wealth, saving for the future, and achieving financial independence, freedom. Informed choices. With financial literacy, you're less likely to fall prey to poor investments, excessive debt, or predatory financial products that can hinder your financial growth or even entrap you. Core financial principles for wealth building. Wealth building is a systematic process that requires both strategy and discipline. It is not about getting rich quickly. It is about making consistent, strategic decisions over time that build financial security and wealth. Live below your means. One of the simplest yet most powerful wealth building strategies is to consistently live below your means. This doesn't mean depriving yourself, but rather being conscious of your spending, avoiding unnecessary debt, and focusing on saving and investing a portion of your income. Save and invest early. The earlier you start saving and investing, the more time your money has to grow through the power of compound interest. Starting early allows you to take advantage of long-term growth opportunities and reduce the burden of saving larger amounts later in life. Diversify your investments. Diversification is key to mitigating the risks and maximizing returns. A diverse portfolio might include stocks, bonds, and real estates, and alternative investments. Spreading your investments across different asset classes helps to protect your wealth from market fluctuations. Understand risk versus reward. Every investment carries some level of risk. It's essential to understand the balance between risk and reward and choose investments that align with your financial goals and risk tolerance. Higher rewards often come with higher risks, so it's important to find balance that suits your situation. Be patient. Building wealth is a long-term endeavor. While quick wins may happen, the real wealth building happens over time. Stay disciplined and focus on consistent, incremental growth rather than expecting immediate, drastic results. Practical wealth building strategies. Once you understand the core principles of wealth building, it's time to take action. Here are some practical strategies you can implement to start building your wealth today. Budgeting and managing your cash flow. Before you can build wealth, you need to understand how to manage your income and expenses effectively. Budgeting is the first step in gaining control over your finances. Take your income and expenses. Use a budgeting tool or app to track where your money is coming from and where it's going. This will help you identify areas where you can cut back and direct more money towards savings and investments. The 50-30-20 rule. A simple guideline for budgeting is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income goes to necessities, housing, utilities, food, etc. 30% to discretionary spending, entertainment, dining out, etc. And 20% towards savings and investment. Adjust this ratio as necessary based on your goals. Emergency fund. Establish an emergency fund with 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. This provides a cushion for unexpected expenses and helps you avoid going into debt while life throws you a curveball. Investing for your future. Investing is one of the most effective ways to build wealth. Your investments can grow over time, outpacing inflation and allowing you to build a financial security. Stock market investing. Investing in stocks allows you to take part in ownership of companies and potentially see returns through dividends and capital appreciation. Start with index funds or exchange-traded funds, ETFs, for a diversified, low-risk approach. Real estate investing. Real estate can be an excellent wealth-building tool. Whether through rental properties or commercial properties or real estate investment trusts, REITs, REITs, real estate offers potential for both income generation and long-term value appreciation. Retirement accounts, 401ks and IRAs. Contribute to retirement accounts like 401ks or IRAs to take advantage of tax benefits and long-term growth. These accounts often provide tax-deferred growth and employer matching contributions, which can accelerate your savings. Dollar cost averaging. This investment strategy allows regular investing at a fixed amount of money into your chosen investments, regardless of market conditions. Over time, this helps smooth out market volatility and reduces the risk of making poor investment decisions during market swings. Paying off debt. Debt is one of the biggest obstacles to wealth building. Reducing and eliminating debt should be a top priority in your financial plan. Prioritize high-interest debt. Focus on paying off high-interest debt, such as credit cards, first, as it compounds quickly and can quickly undermine your ability to build wealth. Use the debt snowball or debt avalanche method. The debt snowball method involves paying off the smallest debts first, then moving to the next one, while the debt avalanche method focuses on paying off the debt with the highest interest rate. Both methods are effective, but the key is to stay consistent and aggressive in paying down your debt. Avoid lifestyle inflation. As your income grows, avoid increasing your spending to match it. Instead, direct additional income toward paying off debt and saving for future investments. Increase your earning potential. To truly build wealth, it is important to increase your income over time. This can be done through career advancement, side businesses, or investments in personal skills. Invest in yourself. Continuously work on improving your skills, education, and professional network. Professional network. Higher skills and knowledge often translate into better job opportunities and higher paying positions. Side hustles and passive income. Consider side hustles or creating passive income streams, an example, dividends, royalties, rental income, to supplement your income. Diversifying your income sources allows you to increase your wealth without depending solely on a single job. Building a wealth mindset. Beyond the tactical aspects of money management, building wealth requires a mindset shift. Developing a wealth mindset is about seeing money as a tool for achieving your goals and creating opportunities rather than a source of stress or anxiety. Wealth mindset principles. Long-term thinking. Understand that wealth building is a marathon, not a sprint. Focus on long-term growth and avoid get-rich-quick schemes that often lead to financial ruin. Patience and persistence. Building wealth requires consistent effort over time. Stay patient, keep your eye on the prize, and don't get discouraged by short-term setbacks. Value education. The more you know about a personal finance and investing, the more informed decisions you will make. Commit to lifelong learning in the realm of finance. Gratitude and giving back. True wealth is not just about money. It's about creating a fulfilling life, contributing to your community, and having the ability to give back. By adopting a mindset of abundance, you can foster both personal and financial growth. Financial literacy and wealth building are ongoing processes that require dedication, discipline, and a long-term perspective. By mastering the fundamentals of money management, investing wisely, and cultivating wealth-building mindset, you can achieve financial freedom and security. The key to true wealth is not merely accumulation of money. It's about creating a lifestyle of intentional financial choices that supports your values, goals, and long-term success. Through smart financial decisions, consistent effort, and ongoing education, you can build wealth that lasts for generations, providing both personal fulfillment and a legacy of financial responsibility. Most of us are not taught anything about money. Most of us are victims largely of marketing. Most of us don't really even understand the financial system in which we live. And honestly, we're sold a lot of lies. Most of us are taught that if you go to a job and you work hard and you're smart and you do the right thing, it'll all work out. To some extent, that's true. But it's not really what capitalism is. As long as you're trading your time for money, you will not make any real gains in your life. You can make a decent life, but for generational wealth, it's not likely to happen. Generational wealth generally comes from long-term investing. Generational wealth can often come from what's called participation or upside in a business venture. This will not happen at a job. Job is an acronym for just over broke. They don't have any incentive to give you a path out. What's up, man?
How's it going?
Oh, pretty good. How you doing this evening? Did you have a good week?
Oh, I'm somewhere in Arkansas.
Somewhere in Arkansas. What are you doing wandering
Yeah,
around
on my
somewhere in
way to
Arkansas?
Oklahoma.
What did you say about Oklahoma?
Oh, on my way?
Ah, on your way to Oklahoma. You going to a
Yep.
job for Monday morning?
Yep. Plan.
Fantastic. Did you have a good week?
That's not right. Just busy.
Yeah. Got anything good coming up this week?
This coming week is work.
Yeah. Did you do anything good for Christmas?
Uh, Not really. Just organized, been cleaned around the house for the most part.
It's not so bad.
Yep.
You got a lot of windshield time left? You still got a long drive?
I think I got somewhere between 3.5 and 4 hours left.
Still a decent little hike?
Yeah. That's not too bad though.
No.
I've But how's your week been?
Oh, pretty good. We had a good Christmas. My brother came out from California. Got to spend some time with him for the first time since I think 2017 or so. So that was really good. He's doing well. Uh, Father-in-law is in the hospital, so that's not so good. Wife and one of the kids is up there with him right now.
Sorry to hear that.
It's part of life, man. He's a good guy. He knows where he's going when he dies. I don't think he's that close. He's having some trouble, but I don't think he's that close. It's part of life. That's why I got an hourglass right in the middle of the coin. Time is short. Use it wisely. Enjoy the time you have with those that you love. Don't waste your time on meaningless things. Without death, life doesn't have much meaning. If it went on forever, it would be kind of meaningless. Death gives us a certain amount of urgency. Unfortunately, most of us don't realize that urgency until far too late. But he's a good man. I think it's
I mean, we're going to take our opportunity to, push our patterns through the algorithm, essentially.
pushing our patterns through the algorithm. It's an interesting way of looking at it.
Whenever a friend dies, with whatnot, like I still see them in like patterns in conversations I have with other people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's a massive part of our legacy. How we impact the lives of others, how we impact how they think, how they behave, how they love. Yeah, man.
How your thoughts ripple through society and through other people, like through the algorithm, essentially.
Yeah, to the algorithm that is life. I like that. That's really well stated. So last week you were talking about, I think it was you. You were talking about thinking about your purpose, beginning to think about your purpose. You spending more time thinking about that?
Last week I wasn't here. It was the week before.
Oh, yeah. Christmas was in there in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, generally, uh, I've spent way too long, thinking about most things.
Yeah.
As far as like purpose goes, I mean, purpose is just like what I'm doing. I essentially just nowadays people like say we live authentically, which I mean, sure to a certain extent, but I think it's more of like living a well curated life. Like I curate my life. That's, like it's other people's thoughts, it's other people's things that I just fit into like what I like, what my life is.
Curating it is definitely part of it for sure. The things that you allow in your life, the things that you add to your life, the things that you do with your time, they should align with your values and what you want to accomplish. Absolutely. You mentioned music. You said that was a big part of your life. You put any more thought towards that?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was talking to a guy earlier this week. I'm working on getting a Facebook page up and running. My dad and his friends are really into the history of New Orleans and whatnot. They're collectors. I mean, the shirt that I'm wearing right now is the original sign for the Mississippi River Bridge Authority. I own one of two that were made for the bridge back in the 50s.
Yeah.
I spent 6 months getting permission, talking to DOT, the Corps of Engineers, to remake the sign because the Bridge Authority is now a defunct governmental organization. So, and there's so much history in New Orleans. Like I have an original set of blueprints for the Superdome.
Wow.
That I'm planning to. I digitized and I vectorized, and it was going to be an art project. And now I just have them sitting on a hard drive. So I'm trying to figure out how to make that available to artists. I visited a guy that he has a private museum at the warehouse of like New Orleans memorabilia and whatnot. And I was looking through his record collection. He was showing me some stuff like the old jingles from New Orleans and just music that he liked. He's 70. And, he was just talking about like, his music is, the soundtrack to his life. Out of everything that he owns, like that would be the thing that he keeps.
I can see that. I've got albums that I've been dragging around for decades at this point. The songs are interestingly touchstones. They remind you of times and parts of your evolution, of people, of experiences. Music is powerful. It's very powerful art. How'd you get involved with the...
Music is our brain.
Go ahead.
There's a quote that I like. Music is our brain enjoying math without realizing it.
Yeah, there's some real truth to that. I'm a drummer, so when I think about music, I often think about the math of the music. It can be quite. There's a.
Yeah. Um, keep going.
There's a few bands that are very uh, like Dream Theater. The songs are less music and more a math problem. And even bands like Tool, the songs can very much be a math problem. Numa or Lateralis, or but even more conventionally, there's quite a bit of math and almost formula to music. A lot of popular music is very formulaic in its nature. So how did you get involved with the bridge? Just because of your association with the history or interest in the history of New Orleans?
Oh yeah, it was just a sign that uh, that's in our collection. And I was like, that would make a cool shirt.
Yeah.
And then it brought me down the rabbit hole of getting permission to make t-shirts.
Well, that's cool. So with the vectorizing the blueprints, are they the old actual blueprints? Like they're still blued?
I got, oh no, they're not blue. They're black and white now because I vectorized them.
Yeah.
But you can have whatever colors you want.
Sure.
And now there's so much historical stuff that I have that I'm trying to figure out how to share with people, and like all these collectors that I know that have these collections that they feel like it's just gonna be like no one's gonna appreciate it after their generation dies. That's how they feel.
Yeah. It's not wholly true.
I mean,
But you gotta, like, so, like, one of the biggest shenanigans with all things, right, is attention and awareness are very hard, especially now that there's so much fighting for attention. There's people out there that would be very interested in it, but there's a good chance that they don't know it exists. So trying to find a way to make the people that are interested in it aware that it exists is it's a challenge.
well, I have a collection of paintings from what Grand Isle is in Louisiana.
I'm aware of it, yeah.
All right, so I have some paintings from a guy that he was an artist back during World War II, but he wasn't a citizen, so he wasn't able to go to war. So he was stuck in Grand Isle, and he painted. And Grand Isle used to look like a tropical paradise. Now it
Really?
just looks like a sandbar.
Well, it's been scoured
So I
by
have
hurricane after hurricane after hurricane after hurricane.
you, yeah. So uh, a friend of mine's mom had a art gallery back in the 50s,
Yeah.
and she was trying to buy his original paintings. They hung in the Oleander Hotel uh, down in Grand Isle, which she was trying to buy them because the windows in that hotel were screened. So all the paintings were getting sandblasted and getting ruined. He refused to sell the paintings, but she got permission to send a professional photographer down there to take high quality photographs to make prints. And then, like 2 years later, Hurricane Betsy had destroyed the original.
Wow.
So I digitized those. I have permission to do whatever I want with those, and they're just sitting on my hard drive. So
That's cool. So on my wall, I've got I got 5 pages from Da Vinci's notebook, and then I've also got the blueprints for the Golden Gate Bridge. It's really just one elevation and section through the foundations, but I can definitely see the interest in that. It's a cool thing, especially down there. I'd imagine they're probably on piles or something interesting.
um, Oh, wait, you mean like the structures, how they put pylons in the ground because
Yeah,
there's no rock bed?
yeah,
Yeah, everything's on pylons.
yeah. I started in construction. I'm kind of a construction dork.
So my family's background is my dad's side of the family. Um, they own a lumber yard that my grandfather started in the 40s,
Yeah?
and then my mom's side, my grandfather on her side, um, he started the Orleans Electric Company.
Really?
But in the 90s, after he died, the family sold the company to Entergy.
Wow.
So that's where my interest in electricity comes from. My background's in electrical engineering, and I also have a background in machining because I wanted to actually make things.
Very cool. I'm into electricity and machining myself. Done a little bit of both. A little bit of industrial work. A little bit of commercial work. In both electrical and tinkering with an idea for a generator I've had for a couple decades.
So my question is, why is there no mechanical generator?
Yeah?
Like, you don't need much. Like, I've been playing around with the whole concept of a clockwork generator.
One of my favorite books that I have is The Inception of AC Generation. It's a book with Tesla and his contemporary engineers talking about the philosophy, mechanics, and physics of generation when it was just emerging. It was generated as a reference book, but it's interesting seeing them essentially create white papers and sharing them within the same publication. But they're kind of documenting the state of the art and also having a conversation about the future and nature of evolution of the science. It's a small book I found in I think it was an antique store or something, but it's very interesting to me.
My favorite electrical book is called Farm Electrification.
Farm electrification.
It's from 1946. I have not found another copy of it. I definitely have been on the lookout for it because I went to college for electrical.
Really?
And I have never found a book that describes it as well as that book.
Yeah. So that would have been like, that would have been Into the Light America program. So that was probably much like the RUS is the standard book for rural telecommunication development. That's probably kind of the standard for rural electrification. It probably is quite an interesting book.
Well, it's great because it essentially was, here's everything you need to know not to kill yourself now that you have electricity.
Useful knowledge. Yeah, that's useful stuff. And think about that. There was a time when most of America was not electrified. Something.
Yep, and I'm trying to find a second copy of the book because I don't want to cut the spine off of my book.
I would say probably not.
But I do want to, yes, but I do want to make a digital copy of it and make it available to people.
Sure. Are you sure it doesn't exist in Library of Congress or something?
I've searched ISBN, I've searched all over.
Really?
It's not in the Internet Archive. I have a hard drive of just books. I have at least 500 or 600 gigs of just books that I've collected.
Wow. I've got probably 30 or 40 gigs of books.
I'm a bit of
500-600 books is a lot of books, man. That's a lot of books.
I'm definitely a data hoarder. I've got probably about 20 to 30 terabytes of data.
That's a lot. Is that data you've processed or just data you've collected and curated?
Collected and curated. I've watched a good bit of it, but I've also I've gotten stuff for friends that like med school stuff. I got basically everything you need to pass med school. Um, yeah, it's all over the place.
Do you read?
Because my problem's always been in college. I took a digital signal processing course that was actually a graduate level course, but I was an undergrad at the time. But my professor knew that it's what I did as a hobby.
Yeah.
I made I played around with RTL SDR. I was doing all sorts of I like digital signal processing, so he knew that I could do it. And when in that class, I didn't understand damn thing they were talking about. And I was like, I do this for fun, and I don't understand what y'all are talking about. So I was having to rewrite the class using MATLAB in order to do what they were talking about and put it in a way that I could understand.
Yeah.
So at the end of the semester, I gave him everything that I rewrote for that class. And about a year or so later, he called me up and asked if I wanted to help him teach it.
Wow.
So, and that's always been, I've gone through I went to private school up until 8th grade, and then I went to public school for high school, then I went to university, and then I went to trade school. So I've been through all of it, and none of it is really how I learned. I've had to teach myself for the most part.
Me too, buddy. I've had to...
And my friends and I actually started an educational nonprofit.
Very cool. I had to teach myself how to learn as well. I'm a experiential and visual learner. I'm also an auditory learner. But reading things, I can learn things reading them, but it's not my strongest format. I really had to work on learning to learn through reading. The conventional system, it's not conducive to my styles of learning. I've also found that if I'm not interested in it, learning it is very hard. But if I am interested in it, learning is rather easy. But learning to learn is probably the best master skill you can. I think it truly is the master skill. If you can learn to learn, understand your learning style and what you need to learn and learn how to learn, you can accomplish a lot, a lot.
Either the teaching company or the Great Courses has a class on how to learn, and it's very useful.
The Great Courses class on learning is pretty decent. But it's not. It doesn't have a lot of depth to it. But I mean, learning to learn is it gives you good perspective. But learning to learn is very personalized. It's like most things that are really worth doing in life. It's something that you have to spend some time, be radically honest with yourself, and really kind of focus on doing. Other people can help you with guidance. They can help you with ideas. They can help you with direction. But it's something you kind of got to do it. You got to grab the reins and do it.
Well, I mean, really just figuring out how to structure it for yourself.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm working my way back through calculus because I sat down to do some basics from about a month or so ago, and I realized that I did not work those muscles out in a while.
Yeah.
So I've been spending some time just figuring out, okay, how far back do I need to go? Do I need to go back to algebra? I can figure out most of algebra. I worked my way to figure out where my limitations are right now. I need to give myself an overview, and then I need to figure out, I've been working on structuring it. I grabbed all of my notes from college, so that way I can figure out how I need to structure it for myself to, catch up and get back to the point that I was at.
I use trig a lot, geometry a lot, algebra a lot, but I haven't used calculus since college. When my boys were going through calculus, it was a real struggle for me trying to help them with all, I was like, I don't remember any of this. But, once I started messing with it for a little bit, it came back. It'll come back.
Well, signals. So, I used to do like differential equations.
Yeah.
Like, that's all signals are. Um, but it just kind of struck me when I couldn't do like a simple integral. I was like, how have I lost this understanding?
Because you don't use it. Could
Yeah.
you said something really interesting when you're talking about getting back into it, which is something very similar to what I do. I tend to think in systems, and it sounds like you do as well. So when I'm digging into something, I'll start at 100,000 feet and drill down because I need to understand, like, for me to really grasp it and be able to synthesize the information, I need to understand it as a system, not just as a task. And it sounds like you're fairly similar.
Are you familiar with mind mapping?
Yes.
So like the branches, that's very much how my brain works.
Yeah. So
So I tend to branch things off and I categorize things, and it's much more of like a abstract. So I have that thing where I can't see pictures in my brain. So, and people are like, what are your thoughts like? I'm like, I don't know, kind of abstract.
I think in words and pictures. And the whole fraternity structure, like all the literature, the coin, everything, was a massive, about 1.5 year mind mapping exercise. It's really what it was. I just started out mind mapping and then doing the research to fill in the gaps and then filling out the map until I felt fairly confident that it was relatively holistic as you could be. But it's like, it's really a lifelong pursuit, but I'm not trying to give them the whole lifelong pursuit, just the foundations to give them direction. It was a massive mind mapping exercise. I do think visually.
So what I find is whenever like teaching someone, it's instill the guardrails.
Yes. Yes.
Let them go crazy, but make sure they know the guardrails. So they stay within the line.
I started with guardrails when I first started leading men. And then I realized the guardrails are less functional than the way to find the direction. Does that make any sense? So,
Well, what I do is, so I think of it as parameters. So like, I call it guardrails, but I think of it as parameters. Here are the parameters. Stay within these parameters. Here's a whole bunch of information. Figure out what you like. Figure out the direction you want to go in, and then stay within these lines and start working your way towards it. And you'll start refining.
it sounds like we may be saying the same thing. So, when I say give them the information to find a direction, it sounds like what you're talking about in parameters. So, instead of me saying you can't go beyond this edge or this edge, this is the information that you might find pertinent to help you make this decision, which sounds like the same kind of idea you're using for your terminology of parameters.
Yeah, I always start people with like same general basics, like learn how to win friends and influence people. Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
Like Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning.
Absolutely.
Like really start with the fundamentals. Figure out what you're like, where you're at. Like, what do you consider important? Like, what's your framework?
Yes.
And then start working from there. Give you a foundation to build.
Yeah. What are your values? What's important? And everything else. Yeah, man. That's why the North Star is in the coin. That's the compass and the North Star in the coin. Your values and your direction. That's it. Most everything else is context and choices. Yeah, that is literally the foundation.
Yeah, you throw in there some Kierkegaard. You throw in there some Sartre. Throw in there some Dostoevsky.
Absolutely.
See if they're into existentialism. Like, see if they're into Kant. See if they're like.
Well, even if they're not into Kant or they're not into Dostoevsky, understanding, getting exposure. So, like, reading has two great rewards, right? You get the story or the context or the content, but you also get access to the mind of the author, right? And you learn to see how other people think. Massively valuable. Even if you're not in.
So I mean, it's usually like, and then like music plays a role in that as well. Because like, I mean, I'm assuming you're familiar with Elliot Smith's Either Or.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's based on either or. So, philosophical, like Kierkegaard, which Kierkegaard basically just like you're either gonna make your mind up or someone's gonna make it for you.
Facts.
Like, and and that's I mean, I love Kierkegaard. Too many people write him off because they're like, Christian philosopher. Nope.
It's way deeper than that, man. And the disregard of the Christian ideologies, even theologies, especially if you live in Western civilization, is a mistake. Even if you're an atheist, not understanding it's like completely dismissing Nietzsche or completely dismissing Tolstoy or completely dismissing Karl Marx, right? You might not totally agree with everything they say, but it's kind of honestly necessary for a holistic understanding of perspective. Kierkegaard was quite nihilistic. His early career was very productive, but still pretty nihilistic, and he only got more nihilistic as he got older. But he was extremely right, and I think that's the biggest. There's a quote from Thoreau: "Most men live lives of quiet desperations." And I think it's part of the reason that the suicide rate among men is so high and the dissatisfaction among civilization is so high. Kierkegaard was absolutely right. You will either make up your mind or someone else will make up your mind for you. And if you allow someone else to make up your mind for you, you'll live someone else's vision for your life. You will be extremely dissatisfied. It is a fact. But Kierkegaard, Kant, Sartre, Nietzsche, the classics, all of them. And what's really wild is you can get all of those on LibriVox.org for free. You can listen to them as audiobooks for free. Or YouTube. You can get Plato's Republic on YouTube for free. Just listen.
Oh, have you listened to any of the modern adaptations of The Prince?
I have not. I have read Machiavelli's The Prince. I highly recommend everyone do that. But I've not listened to any of the modern adaptations.
It's pretty good. Like, they put it in modern language.
Did they?
Because, it's very outdated language. Same thing with Socrates' last trial. Like Socrates' trial.
Yeah.
His arguments that he gave, there's a modern adaptation of that too that's really well done.
Really? I'm not familiar with it. I'm familiar with the trial, but not the modern adaptation again. Have they done Plato's Republic or any of those?
Oh yeah, I mean, so personally, I'm a huge believer in the Platonic state.
Sure.
Everything that we see is pattern pulled from the Platonic state. Everything in mathematics is, pulled from the Platonic state. And I believe that AI and what we're doing now is going to be pulling in higher dimensions from the Platonic state patterns that we're not able to pull ourselves, that we're, it's going to pull. Because, I believe that there's this space that exists that everything comes from, and we just have an interface for what's the closest thing
Sure.
we can consider is reality.
Yeah. We don't have the mechanisms to perceive. If I remember correctly, we can only perceive 27% of what is with all five senses. And then 60% of what we perceive of that 27%, our brain has made up. We're really very, very limited. Yeah. Right. So that's just what we know of.
Yeah, that's just what we can,
perceive. We perceive, yeah. Having observed the observable universe for a very short period of time, instantaneous, infinitesimal, irrelevant period of time, and the sample size is not only irrelevant in time, it's irrelevant in scope. We really have no idea what's going on. It's kind of wild. Uh,
Yeah, no, I'm, semi convinced that, well, okay, part of me is like, we're going to be, pulling patterns from platonic space with the AI that pretty much is going to be, we're pulling a demon, you know?
uh,
We don't know what we're doing.
yeah, whether you look at it philosophically or ecumenically, it really kind of is summoning a demon, as Musk said. It's we're creating a power beyond our own control. Going back to the theological perspective, it's very much the Son of Man, man's creation of a God, trying to become God, and I don't think we're ready. I don't. But if you listen to a lot of the folks that are really driving this, a lot of them see it as an inevitability, and they're ready for they're ready for the next evolution, even if it doesn't include them. And by them, I mean humans. But that only, I think, bolsters the position that we're not ready. It's interesting you brought it in the background of the coin on the side of the triangle. I've got the flower of life, along with Metatron's cube, along with the platonic solids. They're not very evident because the triangle covers a lot of it, but it's all in there. It's really the flower of life, and thereby the platonic solids, and even Metatron's cube, which is also an extrapolation thereof of both, are really the foundation of most of logic in all civilizations, Western or otherwise.
So, like, what's your fundamental belief or understanding of God?
What's my need for understanding of God?
No, your fundamental belief or
Oh,
understanding.
um, how to articulate this? First of all,
Yeah, it's pretty
yeah,
hard.
it's so from a philosophical perspective, I've come to my current working supposition is that if I could truly understand it, it would not be God. I think it's been articulated by a few um, wisdom traditions. Most accurately, I think, like in the Jewish tradition, the Abrahamic tradition, I am is probably relatively close, or the Hermetical tradition, the all is something relatively close. But I don't know that we can really. I don't know that we're capable of truly understanding it. And furthermore, philosophically, if we were capable of understanding it, it would not be worthy of being called God. From a theological standpoint, I think something like something infinite outside of space and time that is both the form, substance, and architect of all that is, but also is beyond all that we can perceive as is. Does that make any sense? In the simplest of terms, and I know this is going to create a lot of shenanigans, love. And the reason I say that, so philosophically, if you cannot really have one without zero. Does that make any sense? So things tend to exist, and possibly just by our own perspective, our own sophomoric, even infantile understanding and juxtaposition. So light doesn't really mean anything without darkness. Good doesn't really mean anything without evil. Love doesn't really mean anything without fear. And as far as I can perceive in my survey across time and space, as much as I am able to glean, the most complete singular word would be love. And the reason I say that is it is love that is the foundation of aspiration, of hope, of creation. Without love, without caring, one does not endeavor to do anything unless motivated by fear. But in fear is not really a motivation to do something, it's a motivation to avoid a punishment. If God is truly God, there would be no punishment for his inaction. Ergo, love. I think creation is some kind of fractal expression of God experiencing itself. That makes any sense? Which again insists,
Yeah, so
what is your fundamental understanding?
I think the only issue I have is that love is just an imperfect term.
Most of our language is grossly imperfect.
So, how you were describing it, it seems more like deliberate intention.
Yes? It is deliberate intention.
Are you Pablo Neruda?
But what is the purpose of deliberate intention? Why would you have a deliberate intention?
Well,
If you've read and studied Sartre, I think, therefore I am, then surely you understand the nature and specificity of meaning, right? So, if it's a deliberate intention, those two words are very specific words, and I concur. But what would be the point of deliberate and intention?
didn't young Voltaire, isn't that Voltaire's thing? I could be wrong.
Say what now?
I think therefore I am. Cogito ergo sum. Wasn't that Voltaire that
It may
said
have
that?
been instead of Sartre. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
but
thought it was Sartre, Jean-Paul Sartre.
I mean, because my thing is like, I'm not sure. So love just seems like the term seems imperfect. Because like my understanding of God is like, so I was very much atheist like most of my 20s. Because I went to a crazy evangelical school when I
Sure.
was a kid, and they believed that dinosaur bones were chicken bones. Like the people that are on like Bourbon Street with like the Jesus
Sure.
Saves sign, were my teachers.
That was probably interesting.
Yeah, I almost got expelled multiple times. One time for wearing a peace shirt with a peace sign on it. They were like, "That's a witch's symbol." So like, yeah, I read the Bible 8 times.
Wow!
I know that thing.
Most people have never read it once.
Yeah.
By reading it, you only start to beginning to understand it after 3 times. So you actually
Well,
got a pretty good understanding.
every time I read a different translation.
Really? Good for you.
So that was
It wasn't Sartre, it wasn't Voltaire, it was Descartes. We were both wrong. Yeah. Way off!
okay. Man, I should have known that.
Yeah,
was
so
Descartes.
should I. It happens. But so anyways, you were atheist. You studied with the chicken bones, the voodoo folks,
Yeah,
the Santeria,
but then,
probably.
yeah. So like, I got really into science. Like, like they should have just let me read Darwin, Origins.
Yeah.
Man, that book is boring as hell. Like, they try to homie for bringing that book, and like that book's
It
boring as
is.
hell. Like they should just let me
Yeah.
read it. Like,
It's pretty boring. He's got some good ideas, man. He really does. I don't think it's quite like most of our intellectual works. I think he's got some good ideas, but I think he kind of gets off track on some things. But it is a long ass, boring ass, grindy ass read. Worse than the Russians. It's like a bad reference book.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, no, definitely like the series and stuff, definitely. There,
Yeah.
but his writing, he shouldn't. No, it's hard getting through that
Yes,
book.
it's hard.
But yes, I was an atheist, and then in my 20s, that's when like I got really into philosophy. I was really like and then my friend, my roommate that was stuck in the wheelchair, his counter, got him stuck in the wheelchair. And then just realizing that like we don't have a direct interface with reality. Everything is just what was evolutionarily beneficial for us.
All that we are is locked inside of a bone vault. We have no direct interface with reality.
So there is so much that is here that we can't interface with because it wasn't evolutionarily beneficial for us to be able to
Even perceive it.
see that
Yeah.
state. Yeah, so like there's definitely stuff here, and there's definitely stuff like outside of our perceived reality that is
Yes.
here. That you gotta be careful with. So like there's definitely something there. I believe.
Like I believe in God. Like just like I believe.
Your mic's
Definitely.
your mic's getting weird, buddy. You're getting real loud and then quiet and cutting out and doing all kinds of weird stuff. Still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. It might be because I'm in the mountains.
Yeah, he might be changing towers or something. So you're saying that there's a lot of stuff that we don't perceive. There's definitely something there, and then I heard I believe, and then it got real weird.
All right. Yeah, but like how I believe in the platonic space, how there's patterns that we pull from, like whenever we create something. I mean, you know what I'm talking about when I talk about the platonic space.
Yes.
Platonism. All right. So, whenever something weird happens in evolution, like that pattern just pulls somewhere else. So, with that, like, when it comes to the Bible, when it comes to the Quran, when it comes to like the Abrahamic religions, when it comes to like Taoism, when it comes to like Hinduism, like all of it has patterns
It does.
that I believe are, like I believe God's in there, but I believe that it was written by man, and I believe that there's lies within there as well. It just takes discernment to like try to understand what in there are the patterns of the divine.
If humans are involved, we've probably fucked it up. And it does, there's a lot of beauty in most of the wisdom traditions. Some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. Definitely within Christianity. There's some things I agree with, some things I don't agree with. Some things that I'm pretty sure we've added as humans for control mechanisms for religiosity and a lot of the stuff. If you look at the older translations, direct translations, Ethiopian translation versus King James versus Oh, what's the other one that's really old that precedes the King James? But even in the more modern translations that are direct from the Hebrew and Greek, like the ESV, etc., because a lot of people looking at the King James, they say, well, it's missing these verses because they're not in the original. They're not there. This is something that they added pretty obviously. If humans were involved, we've probably messed it up. It's pretty high probability. But
Well, why, like, the argument that Islam has for the Quran being, like, the Quran is only truly in Arabic
yeah,
because they don't allow any official translation because, they know that you can change meaning heavily in
yes,
translation.
you lose a lot in translation. I'm still trying to figure out why we translate names. I haven't figured that out yet. What's the purpose in that? I would think Kevin is still Kevin in Russian or Swahili or still Kevin. But a lot is lost in translation. Something I'd like to do in retirement is learn Hebrew and Aramaic and Greek and read the originals myself, but ain't got time for that now.
I mean, yeah, there's learning different languages is good. I don't really learn other languages. Like, I tried Latin a little bit. I have friends who know Latin. I can make Latin jokes. That's about it.
Caca Niorsis in suis. Does a bear poop in the woods? Nosce te ipsum, know thyself.
I think on Discord, my little whatever it's called, it's like whatever's on your mind. I don't know what that's called. I don't use Discord very much. I put Caquito ergo, Odium cum dignite.
What is that? You're breaking up again, buddy.
So there, I had a call that coming in. But, yeah, no, I have Odium cum dignite.
And what is that?
Leader with
Oh,
dignity.
I see. I've learned a little bit of Latin, forgotten most of it. Learned a little bit of French, forgot most of it. It's like the calculus thing. If you don't use it, it wanders off. I found with
Yeah, most of the people that I know that know Latin are either doctors or just really into the classics.
yeah,
So,
yeah, PhDs generally, because there's a lot of Latin in formal writings about things, classifications, etc. And it doesn't really matter what discipline; they use Latin a lot. So, your path through formal religion to atheism to philosophy and then studying all the other world religions is actually relatively similar to mine. I made a stop in hedonism for a while, but I ended up back where I am. I came to some of the same conclusions.
I got really into the pessimistic philosophy.
Yeah,
That's still something.
I think most thinkers do. A lot of people don't make it past the evolution of nihilism. It's a fairly easy point to arrive at, and it's a lot of people get stuck there. They don't evolve through it. It's if you're
Well, the thing with nihilism is generally like, so it's considered limiting your consciousness. Like unless you fully accept that you're just like you have no free will, you have no control over what you're actually doing. You're a conglomerate of millions of cells that are making decisions that will inevitably make your next decision, whether you want to or not. Like, and you have no free will, and you're basically just a meat puppet. Like,
Well, even beyond that,
you gotta limit.
the meat puppet has no point, right? Nothing we do has any point, and we're insignificant within the universe, and some of those things are true, right? So, in the scope and the scale of the billions of years of the universe, our lives are insignificant. We don't even register. Doesn't even register. It's like an atom coming in and out of existence for us. We don't even know it happens. Doesn't mean anything. But we're not living on the scale of the universe. So there is but making that transition intellectually, it requires not just intellectual evolution, but emotional evolution. All right, so you have to start to understand a broader philosophical perspective, and the broader philosophical perspective being that there is more value than just the intellectualization of everything. Because the human experience is not simply an intellectual exercise. It is one of the things that makes us different, going back to evolution, right? Our intellectual capability does give us differentiation, and it does allow us to do things differently than monkeys or turtles. But it is not the sum and the total. And
Have you read the book Ishmael?
the what now?
The book Ishmael. It's about a gorilla.
I have not.
You should definitely read that book. It's about the givers and the takers.
The Givers and the Takers. The book is called Ishmael, about a gorilla.
Yep.
Ischmeal.
I think it's Ishmael.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Tracking Ishmael, a famous 1992 novel by Daniel Quinn, featuring a wise telepathic gorilla named Ishmael, who teaches a delusioned man about humanity's destructive path and how to live in balance with the world, exploring themes of culture, civilization, and our place in nature through a Socratic dialogue. Well, that sounds interesting, actually. Sounds quite interesting. Key aspects, the premise. An unnamed narrator answers to a newspaper ad for a teacher seeking pupils to save the world, only to find the teacher is a gorilla. Ishmael the gorilla imparts profound lessons about human history, culture, and our self-imposed separation from the natural world. That's actually freaking wise, distinguishing between the taker cultures, dominant exploitives, and the leaver cultures, harmonious. Core philosophy, the book argues that humanity's worldview centered on conquering nature is fundamentally flawed and leads to global destruction. I would argue and posit also self-destruction, suggesting that a return to living in nature's laws. Genre is a philosophical novel, a spiritual adventure, and a fable, blending intellectual exploration with storytelling. That actually sounds quite interesting. And from the cursory glance, I wholly agree. Good recommendation. I'll check that out.
That's always a good book, like, especially if people are really into, like, I mean, right now, a lot of people are taking the accelerationist
Yes.
point of view with things.
Yes.
I don't think that's such a
I
wise
agree.
decision.
The technocrats are, I think, extremely flawed in their logic. And I don't think they've thought this through. For a lot of reasons. I think there's going to be ramifications from the installation of these data centers we haven't done the calculus on.
So I heard an argument earlier today is because essentially in the tech industry, capitalism failed.
In most,
So, like, there's no dominant in, like, cars and whatnot. Like, there's Ford, there's GM, there's, they all have their highs and, like, they're all battling each other, but there's still competition. And the tech industry, there's only one of each. There's Google as the search engine, Facebook. All of these big companies, they are able to get the one, like they're able to be the one, and then they're able to keep all the other ones away.
So
So
capitalism has been capitalism. Adam Smith capitalism has been largely subjugated or subverted by the patterns established by Rockwell and then put on steroids by Jack Welch. So Rockwell, or Rockefeller, excuse me, not Rockwell. Rockefeller, and honestly his industrial peers, Carnegie and the like, did a lot of work to consolidate things into monopolies, right? And then from monopolies, they began manipulating the system itself, the governments, and the legislation around the governments to create what are called barriers to entry. So no one can be their competition. So they bought the competition to eliminate the competition, and they created barriers to entry to prevent new competition from starting. And this was the Rockefeller playbook that continues on to this day. And it goes as far as to create regulatory bodies and academic bodies that are supposedly for the purpose of governance, that are not for the purpose of governance. They're for the purpose of assuring the monopoly. They're still running that playbook. And then Jack Welch put gas on that fire when he took over GE. Actually, pause. The Dodge brothers, through the Supreme Court, put gas on that fire when they got the Supreme Court to rule that the corporation's purpose is for the creation of value for the shareholders and exclusivity. It is its only and highest purpose. And that became a legal precedent. Then Jack Welch put fuel on the fire with his optimization and short-term games tactics that destroyed GE and is continuing to destroy much of the value creation prospects for Western companies. And then more recently, we've got even more fuel on the fire for Wall Street shenanigans and the application of private equity, which is still honestly just a doubling down of Jack Welch's shenanigans, which honestly is an extrapolation of Taylorism, but it's all an extrapolation truly of Rockefeller's primacy, Rockefeller, Carnegie, etc.'s primacy tactics. It's you're absolutely right. Capitalism is not functioning correctly, like not even close. Not even close. But until we as a body politic, as citizens, stop abdicating our responsibility as citizens and holding the politicians accountable, who are supposed to be holding these assholes accountable, it's not likely to change.
Yeah. I mean, I recently learned that OpenAI doesn't even have their own server.
No.
They're using
Yes.
Oracle.
Yeah.
Which is
No,
not good.
it's not. I think Grok is trying to establish their own server farms in Tennessee, last I heard, and then OpenAI with this Stargate program, but it's not likely to be OpenAI's own servers. It's likely to be outsourced as well, which leads to some significant security concerns if you really understand how the internet works, among other things.
Yep.
But the decentralization of the code and the weighting systems, decentralization, I think, is necessary. I think we should be decentralizing a lot of things. But like you said earlier, we're summoning a demon we don't understand.
Definitely. I mean, that's what the entire promise of Ethereum was. It was the contract-based, decentralized way
Yeah.
of doing things.
Oh, Ethereum's
Like,
promise really
Ethereum
wasn't
is
delivered on. It was really just the proof of stake versus proof of work because of the overhead load of proof of work from Bitcoin. Most of Ethereum didn't actually manifest. Cardano, I think, architecturally and technologically, is much better suited for side chaining contracts, all the secondary decentralized functionality of essentially blockchain technology. Truthfully, promises.
Yep. Which, I mean, all that was great. Like, I remember reading the original Satoshi paper back in like 2012.
Yeah.
And like, initially I was really into it, and then I got out of it all in 2016, 2017.
Yeah. I wish I still had the Bitcoin that I bought,
Like,
and gosh.
man, you spend billions on drugs, technically.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought some Bitcoin for some of my friends to play around with back in the early days. I wish I had it. Hold on just a second.
I originally, what was it?
What's up, buddy? You okay?
Hello there.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Would it be a possibility for the folks that I'm out with, the lovely people, to come over and do a little fire in that little itty bitty pit we got?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man?
Make good choices.
100%.
Make sure all the parents know where they're going.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right,
Everybody.
thank you, Mr. Kevin.
Sorry about that. Teenage son planning shenanigans with friends. All good things, though. All good things. So, anyways, you read the Satoshi program or paper. You were very excited about it.
Yeah, and then once it became a asset, not a currency,
Yeah.
when I just, I got out of it. Like, because now, Goldman Sachs owns so much Bitcoin they could crash the entire thing if they wanted to.
Goldman Sachs and the United States government. And I think, honestly, the World Bank, they've been doing a tremendous amount of work on their CBDC, and I'm fully anticipating we see that coming forward in the next 5 to 10 years. And I think we'll probably see with that evolution, I think we'll see the diminishment of most of the coins as they stand now. I think they'll either try to regulate them or false competition them out of existence, manipulate the positions to non-existence. There's a lot of, much like AI, there's a lot of baggage that come with CBDCs that I hope people fully understand before they become a problem. I like the idea of smart contracts. I think we could mitigate a lot of shenaniganry with the implementation of smart contracts should they be implemented with the kind of gusto and freedoms that Satoshi posited. But it's looking more and more like that's been put on hold and stalled until folks can insert themselves and extract value from the middle, which was exactly the antithesis of the supposition.
Yep. So I got out of all that. I was really hopeful in the beginning, and then, it just got ruined.
Can't have nice things.
Yeah, like right now, I'm really hopeful about Metatastic and similar projects. I'm really not hopeful about Amazon Sidewalk.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know about that.
I'm really familiar with Meshtastic, and I've been following it closely. I think it could be a great solution, urban, suburban, rurally, kind of. I mean, unless you change the frequency, unless you change the bands and wattage. But I'm not familiar with Amazon Sidewalk. Is Amazon Sidewalk something like Palantir's cameras everywhere plan?
Pretty much. Yeah, Amazon owns like Ring and whatnot. they're trying to make their own like
Yeah.
mesh network. Yeah, definitely look into that.
Yeah, that
It's
doesn't
not
sound good. Jeff Bezos has not presented himself as someone who's trustworthy with that level of information or capability. Talk about Rockefeller-style monopolies, right? Between first we went through the Walmartification once Sam Walton was, in his institutional expression, was expelled from the Walmart. We've gone through the Walmartification of the United States, and now we're going through the Amazonification of the United States. It's NAFTA on PCP, not even steroids. It's hyper destructive.
Yep. But yeah, now there's a lot of projects out right now that I've been following that I'm really interested in, and I'm hoping it's gonna take off. If so, as far as like for rural applications, if you look into so you ever go on Hackaday?
No, I do not.
That's the website. It's pretty great. I would
What's it
recommend
called?
But Hackaday,
Hackaday?
HACK, yep, hackaday.com.
I will check it out. Hackaday.
Yep. Have you looked into Meshtastic on there? There's one guy in Canada. He was, I think he's tapped into the Toronto area, but he was too far out. So he made his own
Really?
computer. That way he could tap into the
Toronto network.
Meshtastic network. And
That's interesting. I knew about the Toronto net. I knew it was getting pretty strong. San Francisco's footprint is getting pretty strong. There's some New York and New Jersey are getting pretty strong. Philadelphia's getting pretty strong. Atlanta's getting pretty strong. There's
unfortunately, Louisiana, where we need it because, you know, hurricanes and shit. You know, citizen-owned communication network would be pretty useful when the cell
it would
towers
be.
go down.
Ham radios require a bit too much wattage. You really need kind of like the old CBs, the Citizens Band, Chicken Band, as the hams guys call it. But the data capability would be really nice.
There's a bunch of ham guys. They're all getting up in age, though, that are always on whenever hurricanes coming in. But I've been trying to convince everybody to get their ham license. I have a personal project. So I have a Hallicrafters HT1. It was one of their first models that they made for World War II. It's a telephone telegraph transmitter. But it weighs 160 pounds. It's got like 8 transformers in it. Yeah, it was made to broadcast to, Europe. So.
How many watts is it pushing?
I don't know.
At 160 pounds, I'd imagine a good chunk of that is transformer for high wattage output.
There's 8 transformers in it.
What band?
And 2 Mercury Arctic Stars.
Do you know what band it's running in?
I don't remember. There's the main tube in it. I only found one that was located. So the radio itself, I only found one other radio like it, and it's in a museum up north. And I found the tube that it requires for the main. I forgot what the name of the tube is, but the main tube in it, it was like $800 or something. Someone had one in Europe.
Must be a pretty hot tube.
Yeah. So it's one of my projects I really want to get going, but I know once I start, changing everything in it and replacing parts, it's just gonna become money pit.
Can you hear me now, Crow Creek? Check. Oh, I turned off the mic a while ago. My bad. Can you hear me now? I got folks on TikTok saying they can't hear me. Sorry about that. So if you only got one tube available in the world and it's in Europe and it's $800, what are you going to do?
Yeah, but that's just one of my pet projects. I got way
Yeah.
too many of those.
Yeah, you can end up in an endless rabbit hole of shenanigans.
Trust me, I'm scheduling out my next few months.
Good for you. You're still pretty young, right?
I'm
33? I
33.
thought you were way younger than that.
Nope, I've already done all sorts of stuff.
33. So, yeah, at this point in life, you got, you gone through college and trade school and all that stuff. So you've
I ran a successful company for 10 years and I crashed it. You know, that really kind of jump-started that philosophy thing.
yeah, watching your baby die is, it kind of forces you into some introspection. I lost a
Yep.
company in 2008 in the market crash. My young dumbass didn't. I was not aware that the entire economy could crash and destroy, completely level, evaporate entire industries overnight. Was not expecting that. So I built a construction companies traveling all over the country building stuff. And I was rolling not every dollar, but most of my dollars. There was no saving for rainy days. It was all reinvestment and growth. In retrospect, that was dumb. But yeah, it forces you to do some introspection. It doesn't force you to. I guess you could just go down a dark rabbit hole and lay there forever, or start the introspection. I started the philosophical journey much younger, as part of my self-destructive nihilism phase. Philosophy, looking in some search for meaning, man's search for meaning. Right. I started wandering down all those rabbit holes, looking for some kind of truth. But it got a lot deeper in that phase.
So with my company, I was very much, you know, like I essentially just burnt myself out. I ran a company for 10 years. I started it when I was like
Wow.
16 years old. Yeah, and I had 5 main clients the whole time. I essentially was just in that. I started my company in 2008.
You started at the bottom,
So,
rode the boom up. It's a good place to start.
well, well, so the thing is, New Orleans didn't quite feel the recession as hard because of Katrina.
I went down for the Katrina cleanup, dude. That was a hot mess. We started in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and went all the way to New Orleans. I saw some shit. That was rough, dude.
Yeah, but I essentially just had some guys that had companies that wanted to, they needed a server and they needed basically an IT department for their companies. They've never had that before. I was a nerd that was running servers at my parents' house, so I started working with them. They mentored me, showed me how to start a company, helped me get everything
Cool.
set up. They were my main clients for years. I did all sorts of stuff. I did digital forensics. I went all over the place with things I was doing, just whatever interested me at the time. And I just burned myself out.
It's easy to do.
Like, yeah, I was basically running like every company that I had as a client. After I my company crashed, and they had to get their own IT people. Each one needed 3 people to
Dang.
replace me.
So you're doing all that work plus doing all the business compliance stuff, all the taxes and insurance and filings and banking and all the crap. Did you have any employees, or are you doing it all yourself? Dang.
All myself. And that was on top of all the like other projects and stuff that I was
Sure.
picking up for work. And I was
Yeah.
making good money. Like, and I was also into crypto at the time, so like making good money. So, you know, it's just I'm now just kind of restarting, and now I'm at the point though, like with the pessimism and everything, like what that gave me is like I don't really worry about dying. I mean, when this interface ends, like I'm get to see what else is
I
going
do.
on. You know what I mean?
I do.
You know, like I'm gonna have fun with this one. Like there's that stupid, you know, we're essentially the universe finding
Yeah.
meaning within itself. That's a poetic
Sure.
way that you can put that.
Now this isn't the end. It's just a
So,
part.
like, yeah, so, you know, when I have fun with it, you can, like, I choose chaos on the daily. Like, why do you play this character? Like, why not just mix it up sometimes? Like, I'm a very, you know, you can tell how I talk. Like, I do something out of pocket, it throws everybody off. It's a ton of fun.
I've done a lot of social experimentation myself. Let's see what happens. What are they going to do? How did this person react to this stimuli? I've actually run several long-term experiments testing stimuli across various groups, just to see what would happen. I can definitely identify with the notion.
I used to call it something else when I was younger. It was something like basically just breaking social script.
It is, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's. I don't find anything like. I mean, what's the saying? Life's too short to take
It is.
seriously, or life's too important
Yeah.
to take seriously.
If you're not enjoying it, you're wasting it. There's things to do, but it's a short trip, man. Enjoy it.
Yeah, every year, you start realizing how short it
Yeah.
actually is.
Yeah, unfortunately. I've had the fortune and misfortune of facing death a few times. And it really puts things into perspective as far as time and importance and significance. It's,
So I have a ritual that I do. I have a big Catholic votive I bought a while back.
Catholic votive.
Like, and generally, whenever I'm talking, like, whenever I'm thinking about a friend that passed away, I
Sure.
just light a candle. You know, it's just like
Yeah.
a memory thing.
Spend a little time in that moment.
Because, like, I like
Most people
rituals.
do.
Rituals
Yeah.
make life pretty fun.
Symbols and rituals, they help us process things. It's like the death ritual. I think that's one of the biggest things we've screwed up as a civilization is we've completely erased the rites of passage for the various milestones in people's lives.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems we have in society is not telling, like, especially young people, like, enjoy
Yes.
the point you're at. Like, just make mistakes. That's where the
Yes.
wisdom comes from.
Yeah, we avoid failure so hard, but failure is so crucial to teaching. And then, like you said, or so crucial to learning. And then, like you said, teaching. I truly believe that teaching is a critical part of learning.
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't realize how much you don't actually understand about something until you try
Yeah.
to teach it to someone.
It forces you to crystallize it succinctly enough to communicate it. You realize fairly quickly whether or not you understand it. Something you think you understand really well, all of a sudden, shit, I can't tell anybody how to do this.
Yeah, that's definitely something I've come across a few times. I'm just like, I know how to do this. Can you explain it to me? Give me a minute.
All of a sudden, not so much. Yeah, it's funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah. I have no idea where I am. I think I'm still in Arkansas.
Somewhere in middle America. Are you running a GPS?
Oh, yep. It just
Yeah.
shows road.
So, you said you wandered off through various religions and various philosophical studies, and it seems like you're not necessarily committed to any kind of succinct spiritual tradition, but inclined to some spiritual significances or significancies. I'm not sure what the connotation of that word is.
I mean, for the most part. So, are you familiar with Philip
Yes.
K. Dick? Alright, are you familiar with the exegesis of Philip K. Dick?
Yes.
So, you know about his stories that, reflect stories in the
Yes.
Bible. Because he very much believed in the same, pulling patterns sort of reality.
So you see.
Okay?
Go ahead.
So essentially, like, well, I mean, I kind of just see it as like there are patterns in spiritual traditions that, I believe, like, essentially as, like in Christianity, like the Christo, the Christ within you.
It could very easily be argued that Christ or Christ consciousness is an archetypical pattern.
But it's one that's shared in many
It
religions.
is. And throughout history.
Yeah, so that's definitely one of those patterns that emerge that, because I mean, it's also the argument of Christianity being the religion of the persecuted.
It does bend that way, doesn't it? Hope for the downtrodden.
Yeah, but that's also the spin that was put on it by the authorities in order to make it where they can use it to control people.
It's actually fairly similar to communism in that regard.
Yep. So, like, in a lot of those ways, like, I believe that there's a fundamental that exists that is outside of our understanding. I mean, so I'm trying to understand to like the most fundamental level, which I'm not quite there yet. Like I know that fluctuations in the quantum field, like what emerges out of that, is like the particles and whatnot, and that creates atoms, which create uh, that creates like electrons, protons, that creates atoms, that creates molecules, that creates um,
What we perceive as matter and light and all that.
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like there's a fluctuation at the bottom of it. I mean, that's just like from what our
Yeah.
perception is.
Perturbations
So
in the
like
various.
something,
Yeah.
and like that is what I believe like the mind of God is. Like it's the fundamental
I
beneath
call it the
all of that.
prime.
And like we won't ever. What is it called in Gnosticism? The Mona? Is that what they call it? The like pure vibration in which the
I
demiurge
think you're right. I
emerged
think it's the
from,
Mona.
or was it? Yeah, like something in that direction. But I mean, I don't really have any terms for it or words. Like, I really do spend a lot of time like, who am I before language? Like, more people need to sit with that thought. Like, who am I before this layer of language?
It's one of the things I enjoyed about studying languages is you can really see like the manifestation of the civilization, their ideology through the way that their language is architected, how they formulate thoughts and ideas, and how that impacts their culture and civilization.
Isn't that like the main thing people say about learning different languages is learning like how ideas are
Yeah,
translated?
yeah, it's a real struggle for Germanics to learn the Passion languages because of that. We try and think too succinctly, too linearly, too literally. We try and translate directly. It doesn't really. Going back to your earlier point, there's a lot lost in translation.
Yeah, and I mean that. Like one of my interests is I follow a lot of researchers that are researching the communication with animals using machine
Yes,
learning.
what they're doing with dolphins and whales, fantastic. Even the laughter of rats, extremely interesting.
Yep, and the birds and just like all these animals that have these complex languages that we're just figuring out because we're able to, use mathematics. I mean, one thing that I'm really interested in is us using, this AI as machine learning and pointing it at physics. Like, I'm really interested in seeing like where it pulls like our
Yeah,
understanding of physics.
yeah. I think so. Going back to your statement and some of our previous statements, I think we have a gross grasp on things, but I think we've gotten off track a few times. Like I think the entire period of wrestling with string theory was a waste of time. But I'm interested to see what machine learning does with physics, without the biases of humans or the interest of trying to secure grants or tenure. What is it? What does it come up with? I'm interested to see that for sure.
Well, I mean, right now we're observing things with the James Webb telescope that doesn't fit into our
Isn't that
understanding of
interesting?
physics.
As long as the cosmological and the quantum don't
You know,
reconcile, there's something we don't understand. I firmly believe that. As part of the reason I arrived at the prime.
I mean, there's a bunch we
Yes.
don't understand.
Yes.
I mean,
Our own hubris is in the way quite drastically.
yeah. Because like what I tend to think about is like, as a person, all the cells that make me up, I don't think they know who I am.
No, I don't think they know who you are, but I often contemplate. We consider consciousness being strictly a function of the brain. Though there's quite a bit of research that suggests that's not actually true. There's actually a good bit of research that indicates that our our bacterial load, our gut biome, actually participates in our cognition.
Oh, yeah, no, gut biome and I mean, there's even evidence that like your kidney and liver has some sort of consciousness as well.
Yeah. Well, there's neurons in the heart. There's neurons in the kidneys. There's neurons in the liver. There's neurons throughout your musculature. Only recently, I think it was like last year or 2 years ago, maybe 2 years, maybe it's longer than that, maybe it's 2 or 3 years ago. They just realized that your musculature is actually part of your endocrine system. Yeah. Huh. Our own bodies. We really don't understand our own bodies.
Yeah, and I find all that I find very interesting, but I also I was like, my problem is trying to figure out at what point does mental masturbation play a role in, you know, because like I have friends who
Yeah.
are mathematicians, and I swear they just all they do is mental masturbation. Like there's no use for the stuff that they're talking about. Like sure, like it might exist. Like we might find something useful for it one day, but like I don't know what I'm gonna need to do with 70 dimensions. Like seems pretty useless to me.
I think,
Might be groundbreaking in
yeah,
mathematics, but I
most of
don't.
modern philosophy and a good chunk of modern maths, physical and otherwise, I think are exactly as you describe it, mental masturbation. Dimensionality I wrestle with quite a lot. But like you said, how much of it is actually just mental masturbation? I like uh, I like thinking about it, but how useful is it actually going to be?
I mean, I don't play video games, so like you know, me thinking about this stuff and like you know, listening about Gnosticism and like listening about all this esoteric stuff, like that's literally my
Yes,
entertainment. Like, and
to
I
some
see it
extent.
that way. Yeah, it does help. Yeah, I mean, I do like pull stuff from it that is useful and it, you know, enhances my life in ways. But I'm sure I can get skills from that, like from video games that you know would do the same thing. But I, I prefer doing this.
There's quite a bit of research that shows video games improve cognition rate and problem solving ability. Surgeons that play video games are 30% more successful, interestingly, or 32% more successful, interestingly enough. And then the thinking about thinking about philosophy and theology, etc. It's not completely without ends, right? So a lot of times, a lot of times, those things help you understand or formulate your own perspective on the world, who you are, and where you fit in. Does that make any sense? Even if you take
Yep.
no significance from the religious tradition or the wisdom tradition, it can help you better understand who you are and where you are in the world and the context in which you exist, which can help you better navigate your life and have a better life. Some of it is, though, as you say, just mental masturbation. Have you looked?
So there.
Have you looked at any of the Indian traditions, the Vedas or the Bhagavad Gita or any of that?
Oh yeah, the Bhagavad Gita has my favorite like visualization of God when Vishnu reveals himself to
Yeah,
I forgot whose name. Um, Myra is like, I want to see what you truly look like, and
yeah,
it's like you don't want that smoke, and he's like, no, I want to see it, and then just breaks his brain.
yeah. I think that's probably as close as we're gonna get. Like Moses had to hide himself in the rock as God passed. It's gonna break you, bro. You can't. Hearing the voice of God would destroy you. Seeing God, perceiving God would destroy you. We're not ready for that. The Bhagavad Gita is a
I described it like as the constant, you know, consuming, the eating, and the creation, like at the same time. Like, you know, how it was described was a
yeah,
really great way of describing it. You know,
yeah.
destruction and creation.
They're not mutually exclusive.
Um, I'm not doing it.
I think the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, no, the whole
Yeah, the Indians are way better storytellers. Way better.
yeah, but I definitely recommend reading that one. Start googling that would pull it up because it's one of my favorites.
So what led you to start searching
But
the various world wisdom traditions and religions, philosophy in general? Was it search for meaning, understanding, boredom?
I mean, well, I mean, it's because I was raised with like the evangelical Christianity, like you know, no sort of actual intellectual conversation around it,
Yeah.
just accept it, you know. And I was like, no, I'm interested in understanding. So, I mean, personally, I kind of am more towards the, um, I'm definitely more in the like Islamic,
Yeah,
like Sufi
you said before you were a Sufi.
area, you know,
Yeah,
the Islamic mysticism.
which is
Well, that's just area that I like. I like the teachers in that area. There's one, and I'm trying to think. It's the um, trying to. It's like trying to see reality or trying to understand reality is like trying to see the
yeah.
surface of a mirror. You'll only ever see
That's
a
so true.
reflection.
That is so true.
And like it's just full of stuff like that, and it's just like you know heavy thinking, like trying to understand, you know, God and reality, and just where
Sure.
we are in all of
Have you
this.
looked at Kabbalah at all
I,
or Kabbalah?
uh,
Losing you again, brother. Can you hear me now? Hello? Lost him in the mountains. Crow Creek, I hope you have a great fishing trip. Hope it's successful, man. Hope you get your belly filled and have some for the freezer. Still here. Can you hear me, bud? Hey, G-Tron. He gone. Let's see if I can open this up. See if this does anything. Multigast. No? Can't do that? Can't change that. Multigast. Let's see here. Can I do this? Sure. So earlier tonight we were talking about financial literacy and wealth building. A lot of people don't understand the system in which they operate. They want to try and trade their time for money, and they think in trading their time for money in a job, they're going to get ahead. You can make a decent life, but you're not going to make legacy changing money working at a job. You're just not. Job is an acronym for just over broke. You can make a decent life for you and your family. But if you want to change the direction of your family, if you want to leave a financial legacy, you have to do something different. Capitalism, the system in which we operate, and it has been grossly bastardized. But capitalism, the system in which we operate, is not about trading your time for money. The whole precept, the whole supposition of capitalism is in the name. Capital. It can be labor, but it is primarily resources. Getting resources to work for you. Like employees. Every dime should be an employee that you put to work to go make little money babies and bring back little money babies to go put to work. So that in time and over time, the capital that you deploy, the capital that you put to work, becomes a larger and larger army that works for you. Not your own labor, trading your time for money, but the capital that you employ, working for you. A lot of people think that it will take a short period of time. Their perception of the time required is grossly skewed. Our attention spans get shortened more and more as time goes on. Social media is exacerbating this. The time required to be successful at most things is not days or weeks or even months, but years. 5 years is the beginning. At 10 years, you begin maturation. Begin maturation. Most of these tech billionaires want to present themselves as bootstraps. Came from nothing. If you started in Harvard or Yale, you did not come from nothing. Generally, they're working off of generational wealth, which is not only a fiduciary bit of leverage, but it is also a massive intellectual bit of leverage. And what's most undervalued, underrated, and underdiscussed is the network. Information is useful and valuable. Capital to deploy is useful and valuable. But the most valuable thing outside of yourself that you can develop is your network. Who you know. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you know are talking about celebrities and sports ball, but your goals are personal excellence and financial independence, you will not likely achieve personal excellence and financial independence. If those are things you want to achieve, you should try and build your network of other people that want to achieve personal excellence and financial independence. Doesn't look like he's coming back. Looks like he's lost in the wilderness out there somewhere. Mr. Recon, I hope you have a wonderful fishing trip. To all of you, I hope you had a great week, a great Christmas. I hope you have a beautiful New Year's and week to come. God loves you. Jesus loves you. Love yourself. Love others. What's up, handyman? Have a great day.